And there we are live. We are live streaming. Here we go. Yes, we are.
I love that. I love your musical interludes in the beginning of these. They are fantastic.
Yay. Because I cannot sing, I cannot hold a tune. And, I'm just a hot mess when it comes to singing.
I think it's lovely. I don't think it's a hot mess.
You obviously have never heard me sing Happy Birthday with my family.
Well, kids are kids.
No, we will call you and wish you a happy birthday on your birthday.
I will look forward to that.
Yes, we have like this whole Wint birthday thing.
We are live. I see we are live.
Yes, we are live. We are live. We should probably get on with our interview instead of talking about, whatever we're talking about.
Indeed. What are we talking about today, Sandra?
I have my meditation music going and I've been focused on mindfulness all day today.
Something we all need and something that's so elusive. Because I find it to be elusive unless I focus on it, right? Because otherwise I wake up and I think, oh, let me open my calendar. I have all these things I have to do today. Okay, what else? I need groceries. I got to pick the kids up. I got to do this. I got to do, and then you get lost in the day of all the doing. Unless I intentionally make myself stop in the morning and be mindful. And so for me in the morning, that means stopping, thinking about how I want my day to go, thinking about how I want to show up in my day, right? How do I want to feel? Asking myself certain questions. And because, I am that nerdy person that has stuff up on my mirror in my bathroom, that the questions that I want to think about, they're important. But that's my morning mindfulness, right? And to me, mindfulness is creating that space and that time to place more intention on what you're doing, what you're thinking, how you're feeling. Otherwise, you just end up doing like a robot. That's my idea of mindfulness, and you can attach that to anything. And in terms of like our retreat and what we're talking about, mindfulness around our perspectives of ourselves and our bodies, right? Our perspectives of our worth, our perspective of food, right? And eating and what that means to us or doesn't mean to us. And taking that moment and that space to have intention. What do you think?
So I agree with all that you've said. And I would add that mindfulness is about being present in the current moment. And exactly what you said about we get lost in the day and we're so busy. And being intentional about being present right now.
Mm-hmm.
And it is also about kind of taking that bird's eye view of what's happening in the current moment, right? So being able to float outside your body in the current moment and see yourself as not just what you're experiencing in the moment, but to see yourself in what is happening at the moment and to be aware of what's going on for you. And of particular focus for me when I'm working with many of my clients is how are you feeling in your body when you are being triggered, when you are being in emotion, right? Because oftentimes we're so busy moving forward, we're not paying attention to what's really going on inside of us for ourselves. And oftentimes our body is that first warning signal that something is happening, something that is relevant is happening for us. And so being mindful, taking that second to just pause and get centered
Mhm.
with what's happening for you
Mhm.
can be a huge a differentiator between just moving forward with a response and moving forward with a considered response.
Mhm. So true. That's so true. I work with that a lot too with my clients because we talk a lot about being separate from our bodies, right? Because, and we talked a little bit about this the other day when we talked about the concept of there's really two people in us. It's the person living their life, living and doing all the things. And it's the person who's on the outside looking in, judging, figuring it out, and thinking what you're doing. But on top of that, this is when you're mindful, you're almost you're taking that time to tap in, ground to that higher self, that higher mind, who is able to come out with a positive look, perspective, right? Not just the negative chatter, but who can see what's going on. Like, okay, I have perspective. I can now tackle these things because I feel more in touch with myself. And that plays a big role in how we think about ourselves and our bodies, how we feel in our bodies, the actions we take because of the way we feel in our bodies, or whether we're just not ready to feel those things and we ignore those signals, right?
Yes.
Because I
Yes.
know I was having extreme anxiety, extreme panic attacks. And it's because I was ignoring all of the other signals my body had been giving me because I just couldn't deal. And so I didn't take the time to be mindful and process through because I wasn't ready. But my body ultimately was like, nope, you're going to deal with this now. So, you know, now I'm extremely cognizant of that. And when I feel that anxiety, I'm like, oh, something's going on. I need to stop and pay attention.
So how do you do that?
I think there's lots of ways. I think it depends on the day, right? For me, usually it's funny. Someone asked me that question today. Sometimes I just need to stop and go for a walk. Sometimes I just need a different environment and need to get outside. I always feel better when I'm outside, or I need to call a friend, or I need to stop what I'm doing and go do something else until I have a little bit of space. And I'm like, okay, now I need to come back to whatever it was and think about it for a minute and give myself that time. But I need to stop the pattern long enough for me to be even able to even take a minute to think about it.
Yeah. And I think what you said earlier is so relevant to what you're saying right now. We need to be aware, because if we're not aware that this is happening for us, then we totally miss giving ourselves that space.
Mm-hmm.
And then we just react.
Right. And we can't fix what we're not aware of.
Right.
Yeah.
And oftentimes, for me, one of the things that always triggers me is walking into a room.
Mm.
I am very conscious when I walk into a room about how I'm feeling as I walk in. When it's a room full of people that I know, like when I walk into our networking meeting on every other Wednesday, I know that I'm going to feel good, even when I'm frazzled and harried and like crazy and running around like hair on fire, right? Um, and I feel good because I know that the people there, I have a great deal of trust for the people that are there. When
Mm-hmm.
I'm walking into a room full of people that I don't know, I'm very conscious that I'm
Mm-hmm.
going to get triggered in some way. So I try to very much take a deep breath and just be aware of how I'm feeling and resist the urge to look back and make sure that, whatever is I'm wearing is like down and not showing anything I'm not supposed to be showing.
Mhm. Yep.
But just being really aware of the emotions that are happening, right? Because if I'm walking in and I'm not aware of how I'm feeling,
Mhm.
that's when I'm likely to say the dumb thing. Then I'll beat myself up for saying the dumb thing, right? Or I'm likely to start running or walking quickly to a location trip and then feel like a total goof, which just makes the whole thing kind of balloon, right?
Right.
So yeah, just taking that moment to be present in my body, notice how I'm feeling, and just breathing.
Mhm. Yeah. Well, and you're taking a minute physically, not just mentally and emotionally, but to physically calm your nervous system down, right? To get out of the sympathetic and into the parasympathetic so that you are better able to tackle and handle whatever is coming your way.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yes. And I think this is just so important for everybody, because when we are triggered, we have a tendency to go from emotion to response immediately, right? And oftentimes, our response is not what's really happening. It's just a conditioned way, a habitual way we have to respond to a stimulus.
Mhm.
And sometimes our habitual way doesn't help us.
Right. Right. The way that we deal with these circumstances is sometimes not the best choices, right? And it could be money, it could be alcohol, it could be food, it can be anything that we choose, but we all have coping mechanisms that we have learned over the years that are an automatic response,
Yes.
right? But when you have that moment of awareness and space, you're able to better manage that automatic response.
Hmm.
And that's really important in areas we're talking about in our retreat, I think.
I agree. One of the things that I talk with women all the time about is it's really difficult to become aware of our habitual responses because they're so habitual. We have no view
Right.
into, right. So one of the things that we can do is work with a coach. One
Exactly.
of the one of the things that we can do is solicit feedback from others, which in and of itself sometimes is often triggering,
Yeah. Just
right?
solicit it from a safe person. Right. Not someone who normally triggers you.
Well, but even sometimes, right? Like, how often is feedback triggering simply because we feel defensive about it?
Right. And there's something to explore there. But
Totally.
it's hard to do that. And that's why creating the space, having that room full of people that you can trust, that you know is in it with you, that you can trust, is what we want to create, so that you can feel safe to start to explore these ideas and these thought patterns.
Yes.
Mhm.
Because until we're aware of what's happening for us, we're a victim of our habits.
Right. Exactly.
It's
And
impossible to make choices
yes,
without that awareness.
right. We can't take responsibility and in some sense, a sense of control, right? And power. It's very disempowering to just not take responsibility for everything and
Mhm.
just roll through life without being aware and not thinking. So it's very empowering to be able to stop, take that time, place yourself at that level of importance.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah. So as I keep saying this every time about how excited I am about this retreat day and the group program after that we're going to open up. But I've been talking to so many women um, lately, and I just am exuberant about this because there is no place. And I think more and more now people are starting to talk about it. but we need more space for us to actually talk about these things in the real, right? And not be afraid and not feel ashamed or not feel guilty, in order to move forward and be
Yes.
stronger and help each other.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. I would encourage anyone who struggles with becoming mindful, being aware of your blind spots. And if you're noticing reactions that are over the top, these are really good signs that there's something happening under the surface. And if you want to explore it, coming to this retreat that we're offering is a great way to start that process. Not only will you be in a safe place to explore it, not only will we be focused on these actions, but you will be with a group of people that will hold you safely,
Mm.
and will not judge you. Right. And you'll walk away with some very concrete ideas. It's not come, relax,
Chat. No, it's
chat. It's
right.
it's like, no, there's actual healing work that's going to happen. There's actual intentional takeaway work that you
Yeah.
will have. You will walk away with tangible work that you can begin to implement. It's not just a get a massage kind of a thing.
Right. Right. There's tangible actions and takeaways that you will be able to start to think about and implement, after the retreat. There's tangible, actual gifts and, that you will get to take away with you to remind you to keep your intentions for the day forefront and center so you don't forget in the busyness of every day, which is so easy to do. So like Sandra said, it's not just we're going to show up and have a day of chatting. It is very intentional and structured with, exercises and healing components built in.
Yep. All right. So register.
Please, because I can't wait.
I can't wait. But honestly, if you're having questions or you're not sure if this is for you, like, please reach out. Let us
Yeah.
know. Yeah.
Mhm.
And if there's something specific that you would like us to address, we are happy to do so.
Yeah. Otherwise, we just continue to talk away about what we feel is important. But it
And
would be great.
sing during our opening, hello.
Yeah. Or goodbye.
Goodbye.
Or at the
See
end.
you.
So if you don't want to hear us singing, please give us a topic.
All
Oh,
right.
Lord.
Oh, well, it's been nice chatting with you, Shannon.
Thanks,
And
Sandra.
thank you. Thank you for sharing mindfulness with me.
Well, I will see you again on Wednesday.
Absolutely. Looking forward to it. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.